Hi, I'm Mike Stephen, and this is Gear Up. Today we're going to talk about technical clothing. Everybody knows what casual clothing is. It's the stuff that you wear out and about to look good at dinner and a movie. But this is technical clothing. This is stuff that when you want to go out there and run, bike, hike, do all those athletic type things to keep you comfortable. Technical clothing has that ability. We're going to talk about it in layers. There's what's called your base layer, your mid layer, and your outer layer. Your base layer is what touches your skin. So what's important in a base layer is something that will hug your body fairly well, that will pull sweat off your body and release it. The reason why those things are so important is you've probably all done it, gone and played basketball on a cotton shirt, and eventually it gets very heavy, it gets hard to maneuver with, and it just doesn't feel great. If you were to take a merino wool or a polypropylene shirt and do that same workout, the sweat is going to be transported off your body and out into the atmosphere, which allows you to move better, be a little bit lighter, and be much more comfortable. So the base layer also does serve another purpose to a degree. When you're in hot temperatures, it's the last layer as well. So you're going to choose your base layer by thickness. So some people are going to choose a very thin layer like this guy. So believe it or not, looks like a t-shirt, looks casual, looks great, but this is made of 100% merino wool. I'll talk a little bit about merino wool just because it's really neat stuff. Merino wool has the ability to wick sweat, like I said. It also has an insulation capability, so it can actually keep you warm. When it's not covered, however, the wind can cut through it. It's like a sweater. A sweater can keep you quite warm, but if it's windy out, the wind will penetrate right through the sweater and pull the heat away from you. Same thing that will happen with this. So it's actually not, when it's not covered up, it's quite breathable and quite comfortable to wear. When you cover it up, it becomes an insulation piece to help keep you warm. Merino wool comes from actually merino sheep, and merino sheep live at high altitude. One thing that happens with merino sheep as opposed to regular sheep is their wool is much, much finer. So when the wool is finer, that allows the fabric to trap more heat. So when you have that fine wool, it traps more heat. The other thing about merino wool is that it's flame retardant naturally. It actually doesn't, if you get a spark land on it, it's not going to burn a big hole in it. It doesn't like to burn. Polypropylene is what a lot of us are used to wearing in the sporting world. It's actually made out of a synthetic, very similar to plastic actually. And you know what happens to plastic when it gets too close to hot things. So I really like that about merino wool. The other thing I really like about merino wool is it doesn't absorb smell. The polypros, I don't know if any of you have gone for a bike ride and you go out to the pub and oh my goodness, you smell. Whereas with merino wool really doesn't trap that odor, so you can actually wear the garment if you're on a multi-stage trip. You can wear it a few more times before you need to wash it. So it's a little handy that way as well. So we've talked about base layer. Next layer is your mid layer. Mid layer is all about insulation, how cold it is outside. So you can wear all sorts of different things for a mid layer. You can wear things like this. This is a down, it's called a down sweater. So it's got down lofting in the main paneling, a little bit less in the arms so that you get better mobility. And the secret about your insulation layers is trying to get enough insulation to stay warm, but you don't want to overheat. If you overheat, you're going to generate heat and sweat just from being overdressed. The last layer is your outer layer. Your outer layer is designed to mimic your skin. Your skin should be breathable and your skin should be waterproof. So the hope of a good outer layer is you have a fairly high degree of waterproof and that it is able to breathe fairly quickly. In sport, what happens is if you just wear something that has a tremendous amount of waterproofing, you're going to get soaked from the inside, meaning that your body's sweat is going to get you wet from the inside versus the rain or whatever weather is hitting you, getting you wet from the outside. Because let's face it, a plastic garbage bag is absolutely waterproof, but it's not nice to go for a hike in. You can do it in a pinch, but it doesn't breathe at all. So finding that balance between breathability and between waterproofing is something that you're going to have to find for each sport that you do. It's also a little bit different on body type. Myself, I perspire quite a bit, so I need something with a higher breathe rate than waterproofing rate. My wife is the absolute opposite. She is quite cool all the time, so she needs something that's a little bit more waterproof, holds the temperature in. So you're gonna have to dial your clothing selections in to your body type. What's right for your friend usually isn't right for you. The next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to move into a little bit of cycling stuff, because each different sport has kind of its own little knickknacks and nuances that make its apparel or its technical wear designed specific for the sport. So we're going to just jump right into that. First off, I'm going to show you gloves. Gloves are a really simple one, guys. They'll keep your fingers warm on a cool morning ride. They'll also protect your hands if you happen to come off the bike and fall. I always say it's a lot nicer to slide on this than on your own hand, because your own hand, you're going to get scratches and cuts. This, chances are, you're going to come up off the ground, and it offers quite a bit of protection. This is kind of an interesting piece, and this is a piece probably could be worn all by itself on a really hot day, or it can be worn underneath the jersey on a cooler day. So this piece has a whole bunch of stash pockets on the back of it. Again, when you're doing these high output activities, if you're doing them for longer than an hour, chances are you're going to need some nutrition of some sort. You're going to need hydration of some sort. So you can pack your pockets full of nutrition, hydration. You can actually put a hydration sleeve or bladder in the back of this tank top. So on an extremely hot day, you wear a tank like this, and you've got all your nutrition and supplies on the back, along with your water. But if you look closely, you can see that this fabric is extremely breathable. So great for a hot day. But like I said, if it is a cooler day, you still want to wear this because it has all your nutrition and hydration. You can just put another layer over top. And what you'll start to learn is, in the sporting world, to layer is much more important. We talk about this a lot with winter jackets, because a lot of people just want a big, thick winter jacket to be warm on that coldest of cold days. The problem is on all the other days, you're overheating in it. So you're actually better off to layer up properly versus just wear one big thick layer and hope it works. The other piece of that equation is that you can pull off layers individually as the day changes and the weather changes. Next up, I'll just show you a fun jersey. So this is that material polypropylene that I'm talking about. It's extremely light to the hand, ripples nice in the wind when you're riding, but this does pick up odor a little bit more than merino wool. The big catch to merino wool is that you're going to pay quite a bit more for merino wool. So if you've got the deep pockets, merino wool is fantastic. If you don't have quite as deep pockets, this stuff works incredibly well. You're just going to want to wash it a little bit more often. Next, we'll talk about riding shorts. So there's an overshort, and under here, we've got your undershort. So these guys are designed to be worn in tandem. So your undershort fits right next to you, and I've chosen a bib style specifically. Bibs come up over your shoulders. They fit a lot better. I got taught this by road bikers. When I started cycling, I only wore the half style. When I got into the road riding crowd, they wore bibs a lot, and they liked it because your jersey didn't gap up over the back of the short and give you gap between your short and your jersey. So it's a really comfortable short to wear on top of that because it holds everything together, puts it up over your shoulders. It's not that much hotter, and it just really makes the short sit in place. The big feature of a cycling short is its chamois. So if I turn this inside out, you're going to see that there's an incredible pad that you get to sit on. So I kind of call it work gloves for your butt. If you go out and rake for a day in your yard and you don't wear a pair of work gloves, you're probably going to get sore hands. If you go out for a day's long ride without a chamois underneath your butt, you're probably going to get a really sore butt by the time you come home from cycling. So again, these things aren't absolutely necessary, but a set of cycling shorts will really improve how you feel during the ride and at the end of the ride. We touched on the overshort. Overshorts are kind of simple. What they're designed to do is they're designed to go over top of a spandex short if you don't want that tight look. The other thing that the mountain riders use it for is protection. The material is made out of a 4-way stretch cordura, so it stretches in 4 directions, but it also is quite strong. So a short like this you can throw over top of your spandex short, and it'll allow you, if you do go down on the trail, to protect your spandex and protect your clothing, or protect you actually. So it's adjustable, they're vented, you can adjust them in the waist, you can open up vents, they're vented, you can kind of see these fine holes. So they're really designed to allow you to vent out even though you're wearing an overshort. The last couple things I'm going to touch on are, as the weather begins to turn, you're going to start to want to wear maybe a little bit more than those shorts. There's things called leggings. If you look at this mannequin right down here, this mannequin is wearing a set of leggings. Leggings are just longer version of spandex so that you're actually covering up your knees and your ankles. The reason why I point out knees and ankles is because when you're out doing a long ride, that's where you're going to notice the cold seeping into you, into your joints. It's going to be cold in your knees, it's going to be cold in your ankles. So if you can cover those up and protect those a little bit from the elements, you're going to be much more comfortable out there. Let's pretend that you bought those bib spandex that I just touched on earlier. You can actually buy what are called leg warmers. And what they do is they just join from the bottom of the short all the way down to the ankle. The neat thing about these as well is that you can take them off mid-ride. If you start riding and it's really cold out, it's miserable, halfway through your ride, the sun breaks out and it's awesome, you can just slide these off, throw them into one of those pockets we were talking about, and again, you're at a comfortable riding temperature. So that's arm warmers. The next thing that we're going to talk about are booties. These guys go right over top of your cycling shoes. Cycling shoes are designed to be very breathable and cool, so that when you do get into that colder weather, wet weather in particular, your feet are going to get extremely cold. I notice it much more on the road bike than a mountain bike because your airspeed, or you're moving quick down the road, and the wind is really biting into those cold feet. With a neoprene bootie, it allows you to trap that water in the bootie and actually maintain it and keep it warm with your body temperature. Exactly the same way a wetsuit works in water. Traps a layer of water next to your skin and keeps you warm. So these guys, they won't keep you absolutely dry, but they'll keep you warm. And they do breathe at a reasonable rate. It's nothing amazing, but they do breathe a little bit. That kind of rounds out cycling. We're gonna talk about just all the other stuff. We're gonna talk about like hiking, running. A lot of this stuff is very, very transferable. So you can use a lot of your cycling apparel and your cycling technical outerwear to go hiking, to go cross-country skiing, all those types of things. They do cross over really well. We're going to talk about this. This is a base layer piece. If you look closely at it, you're going to see all that foil. It's as simple as that. Foil creates warmth. So what it's doing is it's reflecting the heat that's coming off your body back at you. So this top, even though it's really small and packable, packs a lot of punch in terms of keeping you warm. So it's another nice piece to keep with you. You can use it as a base layer or a mid layer over top of something. But that foil, like I say, reflecting the heat back at you will keep you much warmer. It's also made out of a stretch material, also made out of polypropylene to make it wick well. We talked about wicking and breathability. Wicking and breathability is really obvious on this garment. You're going to notice that there's bigger holes on this side, sorry, it's vice versa. Smaller holes on the inside and bigger holes on the outside. What that does is that's how the water transports off your skin. It goes to the smaller holes and it goes to the area of least resistance, the bigger holes on the outside of the fabric, and then evaporates away from you. But you can really see the wicking material on this piece. Okay, we got the hiking pant. That's what I like to call it. It can be used for almost anything. So a pant like this, again, when you're out hiking, you want to be mobile. You want the pant to stretch with you and move with you. So it's made out of four-way stretch. It's made out of a lightweight nylon four-way stretch. The benefit to a nylon four-way stretch is that if you do get soaked, it dries out very quickly. You can leave it on your body and it'll probably be dry in an hour or two. If you take it off your body, it'll dry a little bit faster. The other neat thing about a pant like this is that you can actually zip it off at the knee. So if you've overdressed or started out in the morning, it's cool. You can wear this pant as the heat picks up in the day. You don't have to go into your backpack, grab a whole nother set of pants. You can just zip off the bottoms and turn these guys into shorts. So again, breathable, lightweight, good option for hiking in. We're going to talk about an outer layer here now. So whether you're hiking, biking, all that kind of stuff, when rain really starts to hit and really starts to penetrate you, you want something that has the ability to shed the water off you. This garment has the ability to shed the water off you. Not only does it do that, but in the back of the garment, it's quite breathable. So if I can get this off this girl's arm. There we go. If you look at the back of this, see these big vent flaps on the back? That allows air to escape out of it. The reason why they put them on the back is because most of these things that we're talking about, hiking, biking, running, they're all forward moving. So you want your most waterproofness to be on the front of the garment. On the back of it, you want it to exhaust all that heat that you're storing up, because things like running, things like cycling, you're building up a tremendous amount of heat, and if you seal it in with a jacket, you're going to get wet and cold from the inside. Again, your sweat making you wet and cold. So a jacket like this, being waterproof on the front, being a little bit more breathable in the back, you'll also notice that in the armpits, it's a cool mesh, not a waterproof material at all. You usually don't get wet under this area when you're biking, hiking, walking, but a lot of heat is generated in this area, so it gives the ability for the garment to release some of that heat. We'll do one last thing, we'll touch on it quick, and that's hats. Man, if it's hot out, at the triathlon, for example, if it's a hot day out there, we do a race support vehicle out there so that we can try to help the athletes have what they need for the race. If it's hot out, man, we sell a lot of these caps. The reason why is it keeps the sun off you, but it still wicks. It's not like your heavy ball cap that you use for playing baseball or just casual wear. It's made of that lightweight material again. It's very breathable on the back, a little less on the front. So you can see these companies are really thinking about keeping the water and the wind off you from the front, but allowing you to vent out the back, keeping you comfortable and enjoying whatever activity you're doing. These are just a few things. This is such a huge category. These are just a few things to help point you in the right direction. Pop down to your local store. They'll point you in the right direction and give you some more expertise on what technical apparel can do for you and how it can make you more comfortable. Thanks for watching. This has been Gear Up with Mike Stephen.
Hi, I'm Mike Stephen, and this is another episode of Gear Up. Today, we're going to talk about sunglasses. You know what? A lot of people wear sunglasses strictly for the fashion sense. Some people wear them for the safety. There's all sorts of different aspects to sunglasses. I'm just going to go through a few with you. First off, the one that I like the most is protection. Whether I be out cycling or driving my car, believe it or not, your sunglass choice can actually help you. It's important when driving a vehicle, for example, to stay away from glass lenses. Glass lenses, if you're ever in an accident, have the potential to go into your eyes. Whereas polycarbonate is another material that they can make lenses out of. It's slightly softer than glass, so it's hard to get the optics high end, but they can do this, and the benefit of polycarbonate is very impact resistant. One of the companies that we sell does an impact test. They actually fire at a lens with a 12 gauge shotgun from 6 feet away. The pellets from the 12 gauge actually don't even penetrate the lens. They don't cause the lens to shatter. And you could actually see some of the pellets sticking through the lens. Not through the lens, sorry, coming into the lens, but staying in the lens. So polycarbonate is incredibly resilient against impact. It's one of the reasons why the military uses them. I've seen some footage of a soldier that had his glasses on. You could see the line on his face where his glasses covered. A roadside device went off, the shrapnel hit his face everywhere, and the only part that didn't have scratches and damage was right behind where his optics were protecting him. So most of us don't need the optics to that degree, but when you are out cycling, you're out hiking, there's mud, there's bugs, there's sticks, there's all sorts of things. So protection is actually one of the things that you should think about if you are a sports-minded person buying your optics. The next thing is protecting your eyes from the different types of light there are out there. There's good light and bad light. Some of the good lights out there are blue light. Blue light is something that you can now buy. If you work in an office job, you can buy a little blue light to have in your office. And blue light has been linked to increasing positivity, increasing mood. So a lot of people, like I say, in office spaces are using these blue lights. Sunglasses now are starting to dissect the light spectrum and allow blue light in so that you still get those happy thoughts and those positive thoughts while blocking the dangerous light out, UVA, UVB, that can actually damage you and your skin. The other thing that they've started to do by pulling apart the light spectrum is, I don't know if you've ever put on a pair of dark sunglasses and gone from an extreme light situation into a darker situation. It takes your eyes time to adjust. Whereas if you have lenses that allow a broader spectrum of good light in and stop the glare, you can actually go from a light situation to a dark situation and your eyes will adjust much faster. One of the technologies out there that does that is called Prism. Prism allows you to have a lens that's very dark, or dark enough, I should say, that the glare of the sun won't bother you. Yet when you move from a situation, let's take for example riding a bike, if you move from a sunny field and you're on a trail into the dark forest again, you have a moment where you actually cannot see, where you're blind. With something like Prism, that transition is seamless. You go from not squinting in the bright sun to heading into the dark areas of the forest, and you can see right through the whole transition. So at that point, you're going to see that there's companies out there that have multi-lenses so that you can actually have a dark lens for when it's really bright out. You can have a medium lens for somewhat gray and overcast days, and you can have a what they call a low light lens, and those are like often clear or yellow, and those things are fantastic when it's really overcast and the light levels are very low. They allow you to still see the detail out on the trail or out on the slopes, wherever you are playing. Another neat technology that's out there in glasses is polarization. Polarization is probably the most popular in the fishing world. And polarization, what that does is it stops reflected glare. Really good example of that is if you were to look at a lake. You look at a lake and sometimes you can see your own reflection in the lake. Is the lake an actual mirror? No, water's absolutely clear. So there's something happening there. And what that is, that's refracted light creating glare. When you put on a polarized glass in that scenario, it allows you to look right down into the water. That's why fishermen like it, because they can see the fish at all times into the water. It also allows your eyes to relax. On that note, we're going to go into lens quality. There is different lens qualities without a doubt. Like I mentioned previously, glass is probably one of the highest lens qualities you can get, but there are some negatives to glass lenses. So a lot of people that use glass lenses will use them for casual use, for fashion, for that type of thing, for their everyday reading glasses, stuff like that. Whereas for sport, you're far better to go off onto the polycarbonate train. To get a polycarbonate lens, like we were talking, to a high lens quality is much more difficult than glass. So not every glass is created equal. Maybe your gas station glasses aren't quite as nice as a high-end boutique glass. And I'll explain why. When you cut glasses, you cut them on the X and the Y axis. The X axis and the Y axis are basically copying the curvature of your eye. If you copy the curvature of your eye, you get precision looking through the lenses. If you do it on only one of the axes, what can happen is you get distortion out of the top or the bottom, or if you're doing it on this axis, out of the sides. So if the lens is ground on the X and the Y axis, it allows your eye to relax much more. That's why some people find that if they wear inexpensive glasses, they find that they get sick to their stomach on a road trip. What's happening is your eye is having to compensate for the distortion in the lens, and it actually can compensate quite well. But it tires your eyes, it gives you headaches, sometimes makes you feel sick to your stomach. So not all lenses are created equal. Just like cameras. I'm looking into one right now that probably has a very high-end lens in it. The lenses in glasses, there definitely is different qualities in that. So that's another thing you're going to want to look into when you purchase glasses. Another interesting thing out there is something called the private pilot. Private Pilot is a company that tested all sunglasses that they could find out there. The list is very long of what they tested. And theirs is a non-biased opinion for pilots. Because pilots need high quality optics when they're flying a plane, they're up right there in the sun, it's really important for them to have good quality sunglasses. This company called Private Pilot produced this list of glasses and said where they're good, where they're bad. So if you want an unbiased view on what glasses are doing well out there, what glasses are strictly fashion, and what glasses are actually offering technical protection, Private Pilot would be a good place to start. Thanks again for watching Gear Up.